Alright boys, it is time to talk about new features that we could see in MLB The Show 22. Obviously nothing has been confirmed for the new game yet, but these are 10 features that I want to see in the game, and I feel like if we just get a handful of these, this could be the best MLB The Show that we've gotten in years. Starting out at number 10, make March to October fun again. I don't know a single person that actually plays March to October. I know sure as hell that I do not touch it. Reason for that being is, it is such a long grind. I think they said it takes about 12 hours to complete, and you really get nothing for it. It's not rewarding at all. And I believe what makes BR so great and so popular in MLB The Show is it solely correlates to Diamond Dynasty. Say what you want about you need to have some offline stuff that isn't Diamond Dynasty, that's true, but Diamond Dynasty is the biggest selling point that SDS has, and I feel like if you just correlate March to October with Diamond Dynasty in some way where you're actually getting useful rewards, more people will start playing it. I'm gonna keep this one short because, being honest, even if they added some really cool reward path or anything like that, I still probably would not touch March to October. So that's why it's number 10. Number 9, better in-game presentation / new announcers. We've had MadFest Scourgeon, I feel like, for years. We've had the same presentation for every game we go into. I see the same thing every single time. Two players from the opposing team talking, just kind of stretching out. I want to get just some new presentation so I'm not seeing the same thing over and over again. And adding some like more realistic stadium sounds would be super cool. Like if they added Derek Jeter, Bob Shepard's just so known for his voice impression of when Derek Jeter comes up to the place. Adding that in for if Jeter, if he is in the game, comes up, will be some more realistic, some really cool. Having crowd impact where the crowd, like, it gets more wild, it gets louder if you're in more of an important situation. Just different ways to make it feel a little bit more realistic and less of a video game. Number 8, ways to utilize two-way players, or better known as the SHOHEI OHTANI rule. I posted a video like 2 days ago having to show how you can take the finest SHOHEI OHTANI and put him at pitcher. That defeats the whole purpose of SHOHEI OHTANI, and I'll get a way to fix that a little bit later in the video. But next year, SHOHEI OHTANI's on the cover. They have to have some plan in place to where you can use SHOHEI OHTANI, the same card, not just a pitcher card, not just a right fielder, the same card. You got to be able to use it as a pitcher in a game if you want, and as a hitter. I shouldn't have to go through these little cheat codes where I have to sub SHOHEI OHTANI into pinch hit for the pitcher, then I can leave him in. Like, I shouldn't have to go through all these obstacles to use the only two-way player we've had since Babe Ruth. And once again, I kind of have an idea of how I want to utilize that, but I'll get to that later in the video. Number 7, adding a DH. This one is a guarantee to happen at some point, probably within the next year. I just don't know if it's going to be this year. Reason being is because when something happens in the real life MLB, it correlates straight to MLB The Show. For example, right when the 3-hitter rule for a pitcher came into place, that was added to MLB The Show. Same thing's going to happen with the DH. It's the one thing that the owners and the Players Association has agreed upon so far. So in the next CBA, the NL's gonna get a DH, so it will be added to MLB The Show. The only question is when is that CBA gonna actually get done? Because as of right now, I'm not too optimistic that the season's gonna start on time in April. And if that's the case, MLB The Show's already going to be out. So odds are they didn't add a DH, and by the time the CBA actually gets done, is it gonna be too late for them to add one? There's a possibility that they could add it in like an update, like a month or two into the game cycle, but I could also see them wait until MLB The Show 23 to actually implement it, unless the CBA gets done like that, but I'm not too hopeful on that. But that's why number 7, if the CBA was done and everything, this would be much higher because it's just about a guarantee to happen at some point within the next year. It's just a matter of one. Number 6, fix stamina. Dude, pitching stamina is so broken in this game. If you are pitching lights out with a pitcher, it does not matter how many pitches he have, and if he has outlier, he is throwing 102 miles, 120 pitches in the 9th inning. It's just not realistic whatsoever. And a lot of the frustration comes from outlier. You're facing a 102 mile per hour fastball for 9 innings, and even if you take a lot of pitches, it seems like as long as he's being effective, he will not get tired. So my easy solution for this is even if a pitcher has outlier, that eventually his velocity just starts to dip once he gets to a certain pitch threshold. For example, 102 mile per hour, 80 pitches, maybe it gets down to 101, maybe right when he gets around that 100 pitch mark, his velocity drops to like 98, something more realistic along those lines in comparison to a pitcher in real life who is 120 pitches into a game and is absolutely gassed. This way we won't have to face another endgame DeGrom card in like June. Number 5, adding a GM or owner mode. I remember baseball games used to have this. Unsure if MLB The Show did, but I know MVP Baseball did, and that was one of my favorite games solely for this reason. Basically, you took over as an owner of a team. You got to make the stadium, make the jersey, and basically anything that an owner of an MLB team would do, you got to decide on. That includes choosing prices for merchandise, for concession items. You got to add giveaways to the calendar for fans. And basically, if you did something that was completely overpriced, like all of a sudden you made a thing of nachos for like 20 bucks, you're gonna piss off your fan base, you're gonna lose a lot of your fans that are coming to the stands. But the problem with that is you would make more money. So it really puts you into the position of an owner making these big time decisions that if you wanna drive revenue, if you wanna drive fans, kind of making decisions along the way. It's kind of a little mini storyline. I think something like that would be really cool to add back into the game because, like I said, I don't remember a baseball game having this in probably the last decade. Number 4, make quirks more useful. So I know I talked way about utilizing two-way players, and I believe this is a way. Same with kind of like adding outlier shit like that. I think you should make quirks similar to X Factors like they do in Madden. Don't make it like Madden because Madden completely ruined X Factors and abilities, but I get the point behind them. Make superstar players feel like superstars. The only thing with Madden is they basically made it so you have to have these X Factors in order to be successful, and it seems like every player, even if it's unrealistic, has these X factors that you need once again to be successful. So as long as MLB doesn't do that and doesn't give people the choice to add these, I think they should be pre-equipped X factors added to players. For example, SHOHEI OHTANI will have a two-way quirk. He will be the only player in the game that has this, but this will allow him to play the outfield. And if you want, you can bring him in to use him as a pitcher, or you can start him at pitcher and you can put him in the outfield. Outlier will be another one. Only the people that absolutely threw gas in their career will have outlier. And this is where stamina could actually, come into play. Pitchers that pitched way back in the day that would constantly pitch complete games, that they would get through games super quick, like a Greg Maddux type, for example, pitched a ton of innings, got a lot of complete games, and he did it on a low pitch count. They can get the stamina quirk, which will basically mean their stamina lowers at a much slower pace than somebody who throws gas, like a Jacob DeGrom, who would have outlier. I think this would be a little bit higher on my list because I really do like the idea of making superstars feel like superstars, making them feel like they actually play in real life. And I feel like there's a lot of cool things you could do with it, but once again, Madden ruined it. As long as MLB does not take a script from Madden and kind of do their own thing with it, I feel like it could be really successful. Number 3, adding Weekend League. So for those of you who have never played Madden, every Thursday to Sunday, Madden has what's called Weekend League. Basically, you have the entire weekend to play 25 games, and based on how many wins you get, that's where you end up on the standings. So there's a top 100 standings, there's a legend tier, there's a Hall of Fame tier, etc. And the more tiers you get, or if you're really good and get into top 100, basically you get some really good rewards. Right now in MLB, the only online competitive 9-inning game that we have is ranked seasons. And if you look at the rewards for ranked seasons, they are the worst thing I've ever seen up until you get to World Series. The World Series rewards are usually pretty good. The only issue is the top 1% actually make it to World Series. Like, it's ridiculous. Not a lot of people actually make it that far. And I know they add the win reward path, which is great, but you're still looking at 30 to 40 wins to get the top reward that you can possibly get. And in a month span, a lot of people, that's just kind of hard. So Weekend League would be a new way to have competitive 9-inning games for people. Obviously, don't make it 25 games like Madden, but adding something where you can go online every weekend and compete, and you can earn some really good rewards along the way. Like, the thing about ranked seasons, the people who are god tier at this game that make World Series all time, they are there within a couple of days. They're that damn good at the game. But then after that, what do they have to play for? I know, I think it was about 2 years ago, they added more XP reward paths that you can get after the 900 for World Series, but it's always just packs. And to me, that's kind of boring. Giving a competitive mode where people can look forward to it and play it every single weekend, I promise you, so many more people would be on the game, a lot more people would try to get better at the game, and it's just another thing to grind out. And I feel like with MLB's MO of you don't need to spend money on the game to have a god tier team, everybody's going to be able to go in there and not feel overwhelmed when everybody has a god squad. In my opinion, MLB's just a perfect fit to add a weekend league, so hopefully they add it this year. Number 2, fix server issues and gameplay issues. I've deadass seen some people say that they'd rather have them take a year off from this game, especially with the CBA lockouts, to work on the servers and to work on some of the gameplay bugs that we have in the game. People are fed up what we've gotten gameplay wise for the past couple years, and they really want to see major improvements. One of them is freeze offs. We're in February right now, 10 months into the game cycle, and we are still getting freeze offs in MLB The Show. They did not fix that this year. It also seems like you get some really laggy connection when you play people like I'm on PlayStation, for example, if I play somebody on Xbox, and now they're in Switch to the market too, you're gonna have a lot of consumers that are gonna be from different countries. Is that gonna cause a lot of server and gameplay issues where it's just super laggy the entire game? Those are things that they need to fix, like ASAP. That cannot be an issue day one in MLB The Show, especially with a lot of eyes gonna be on the game, especially if we don't have baseball at the start of the year and MLB The Show's the only baseball activity they have. You're gonna turn a lot of people off if they come in day one and the game's just super laggy, the servers are still shit, and they did not prepare for how many people they were gonna have on the game. Another thing is bad animations. I feel like animations screw me more than they actually help me or look cool. For example, you'll have an outfielder going for the ball, and instead of getting under a catch fly ball, he gets down to the ground, fields it like a grounder, and it's a single. Or it'll be a hard hit ball to the shortstop, and he'll take his sweet ass time throwing it over to first, but because he has a weak arm, and you're going against Ricky Henderson, he's safe. Players are also just kind of slow to react too. Makes the game enjoyable, and issues like this should not happen to a billion-dollar industry that has just endless funds that they can put into this game. Like I said, you're gonna have a lot of people playing this game at the start of the year. I feel like more than usual with the switch to Nintendo and the possible that there won't be an MLB season at the start of April. So if the game's the same old and it's shitty, a lot of people are gonna stop playing right away. And the number one issue that they need to fix is obviously franchise updates. Hashtag fix franchise. Franchise has not been touched in Lord knows how long. I'm not a huge franchise guy. I don't go on it a ton, but I'll go on it maybe like once or twice a year. Get the Brewers the World Series because that's the closest thing I'll ever get to seeing the Brewers win a World Series. And I do get that Diamond Dynasty is their biggest seller. That's where they make the most money, so it makes sense from a business standpoint to put your most effort into Diamond Dynasty. But you also have a consumer base that loves franchise. You literally have the biggest names in the MLB The Show community on YouTube, Twitch, starting a hashtag fix franchise. People want to see improvements. People don't want to buy the same game year in, year out just to see the same product with very minor changes to Diamond Dynasty, a mode they might not even play. One of the easy fixes they could mean is make trades more realistic. Like, I like going on Twitter and seeing the people that do play franchise, and they'll post some of the most outrageous trades that end up getting accepted, or some really bad contracts. Like, I can't remember, RTS I think his name is, he posted a video and Trevor Story got like a 5-year, $36 million deal. Not per year. The total contract was $6 million a year. Or 7. That's hard. Like, let's be real. That's never gonna happen. Adding an international player pool market. I feel like adding more customization to the mode would be cool too. Getting to relocate your team, or adding expansion teams, getting to make your jerseys, make new stadiums. Honestly, whatever ideas you might have, they need to add it into franchise mode. The mode's been too stale for too long, and it's really nice to see people finally getting sick of it, and I'm hoping SDS does something about it, because that is far and away the biggest ad they need to do. And it's not just one. There's like 20 different items they could add to make franchise better. Any of them would be better than the product we have now for franchise. I don't even think there are player options in the game. Like, how can you be missing that? Such an important detail in contract negotiations is player options, team options, just options in general. I don't know, man, but it's freaking bad. Anyways, boys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. These are 10 features that I want to see in the game. And like I said, I feel like if you add a handful of them, this game could be really good. Obviously, my biggest ones are going to be franchise update, just making sure gameplay and the servers are good to go on launch. Weekend League would be super cool. Same with adding X Factors. It'd be something new to the game, and it'd be like a very new feature that makes the game more competitive and more realistic, in my opinion. But let me know what your thoughts are. What is your favorite feature that I mentioned that you would like to see in the game this year? Or do you have any ideas for something that you think would be super sick that they could add? Let me know down in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.